All right, welcome to Wealth Cartel, where hindsight's a motherfucker.
Our mission is to stop people saying, I wish I had a listen, and to help people capitalise on everyone else's mistakes before making them themselves.
In summary, our tagline says it all: turn our hindsight into your foresight.
So we're just a couple of lads from the west and the central coast who grew up without really any wealth around us and used it to motivate us to make something of ourselves.
Along the way, mainly as we matured, we did a lot of things right, but more importantly, we made a lot of mistakes.
A lot of mistakes that could have been avoided by not being know-it-alls and actually listening to what others had told us instead of thinking, no, not me. So my name's Akko. I'm a small business owner with a bunch of franchises called Pen on Picasso at the moment, with large plans of building a large business portfolio.
I'm Kingy. I'm a financial advisor looking to break the mold on what good advice should look like and start teaching people how to enjoy life to the fullest while also planning for tomorrow out of my business, 3 Kings Wealth Management.
Down here at Bella Vista Hotel, guys. Bella Vista Hotel has got a podcast room set up here for everyone to use. It's a great spot, good little setup for us. Nice little backdrop as well, if anyone's seen the backdrop. So, yeah, if it looks familiar to you guys, this is Bella Vista Hotel. Get down.
Get down here. It's got great food, great drinks, great cocktails, a good little atmosphere, not just for the podcast. They come down for the podcast or come down for a feed and check the guys out. Thanks for supporting us.
Thanks, guys.
Enjoy the episode.
3, 2, 1. And we're on. All right, welcome to Wealth Cartel Podcast, episode 17. We've got the man himself, Jordan Bulmer, on today. Jordan is a McGrath sales agent out of one of McGrath's top teams in Terrigal, New South Wales, also known as God's Country. Mate, welcome. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Let's go. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how are you today? You well?
Always good. If I wake up and I'm breathing, what's not to love?
Set the bar low and everything else is a bonus, eh? Beautiful.
100%. Good day up here. Beautiful weather.
He's I follow Jordan on Insta. I'm jumping off the socials, but I follow Jordan on Insta, Ryan, and he's one of those ones where you see him, like if you follow collectively, you see like this pattern of like 4:30 a.m. wake ups and like 5:45 workouts and 6:45 coffees, and Ryan's exactly the same. So like your two alignments of your Instas are like near. Like the time frames of them is like near fucking identical from in the morning till midday.
I don't know. I've cut away from those 4:30 a.m. wake ups. Fucking hard, bro.
But when you're on that cycle, that's what I mean. Like it's religiously. If you look at that story at that time, you know Jordan's drinking a coffee, 100%. It's like a creature of habit. But I'm starting to find that these creature of habits, they're the ones that build the good habits and they start really thriving in their field, you know?
I think it's morning routine. Like if you get your morning routine down, tick that off, you feel good. I think if you get up early, I just feel like a beast because I'm like, everybody's asleep, I'm already ahead. I don't know. I think it's like, it's a little thing, but it's also a big thing at the same time. And if you can get just your morning routine down pat, like it just sets everything up, like the rest of the day up really well.
You got to make sure you utilize it though. You know, I'm sick of seeing the the jockos and stuff come out and say everyone has to get up early. So bullshit. You know what I mean? Like if you get up at 4 and you sit on your ass and do nothing for 2 hours, just say you got up early. It's a waste of time. Like get that sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've got to. Not everyone operates in that morning, and I think that's probably the biggest message we've been hearing from everyone that comes on the podcast is that whole they find what's good for them and then they stick to it. You know what I mean? Like don't stop doing the shit that doesn't make you feel good and start doing the shit that does make you feel good. And if getting up early is increasing your productivity, then keep getting up early. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And the reason why it started for me is because come 7:30, 8 o'clock, I've got 2 phones. They just call and call and call,
So
and call all day until like 9 o'clock. So from 4 o'clock or 4:30, I can actually like just have a bit of peace. Otherwise, it's just like boom.
See, I started that. I started those 4:30s, and I just wanted to talk to people at 4:30. Like, and I'm sure people thought I was on the back end, but I wanted to talk to people. I was like, but none of my business doesn't operate at that time, right? My business doesn't operate at that time. My business operates on the other end. So I found I was getting up at 4:30. I wasn't finished work until 8 p.m. still. So my day's just extended. And I was just like, I sort of have stopped it lately because I get more good work done in the afternoon. Even though I'm tireder, I get better. So I've sort of increased my sleep to say 6 or 7 sometimes so that I can be fresher for that afternoon call. Do you know what I mean?
So you feel
like... I'm the opposite, but I'm the opposite to that because I find my I need that 3-hour window, even if it's not waking up at 4 a.m., right? I'm in this stage now where what I will do is I won't answer my phone calls. I'll leave them all backlog, and I won't answer my phone calls until I've got my initiation of my plan and my emails done in the morning, because I find if I get up and I just am straight into the phone, then without a bit of a plan or setup going on at the moment, like as soon as I start answering the phone calls, the day just gets away from you, and then the next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock. I'm like, fuck me, I don't feel like I've done anything.
What were you saying,
and
Jordan?
I just feel like that 3-hour frame in the morning where you do get to do something, then if the day does get away from you, at least you've got that. You know what I mean? The next day. And
what were you saying, Jordan?
I was saying most people start getting tired towards the afternoon. So I'm like, that's different.
No, what I'm saying is, don't get me wrong.
Most of your energy.
Yeah, I'm still tired. But what I was saying is that the
sure.
people, like I didn't have the people in my industry, in my job. I don't have the people to speak to at that time. You know what I mean? And I've tried in getting extra sleep in now, so I'm fresher in the afternoon when I'm talking to more people.
Yeah, of course.
Even though I prefer to do it in the morning, all that was happening by me getting up at 4 a.m. I was just tired for those. So my conversations were less. My work, when I was doing work, you've got to tailor it to, like, even though I want to do it.
I was like, fuck, bro, like, I'm speaking to him at 9:30 at night, and he's working. I'm like, bro, like, you were working at 4:30 this morning, eh? Like, like, you're gonna have to, like, what are you doing? Like, it's too much. And he's going, no, I've got to get it done. I've got to get it done. I'm going, yeah, but what the fuck you got to get done in 17 hours? I've never been that dude, eh? I'll get up early. If I do get up early, I do feel productive. Don't get me wrong, I get it. I fully get why people do it. And certain people as well need that stage. And I still, like, now, if I get out of bed at 5:30, I always do feel better. If I get up and I have a coffee and I get moving, I always do feel better than if I drag myself out at 7:30, 100%. But what I was finding I was doing was, like, I got to a stage where I was just, like you said, Ryan, getting up to the sake of getting up. I get up and then I procrastinate. I go into my office. No one else is in the office at 6 o'clock. No one gets here till 9. I'm like, I've got my computer, my screen, and then the computer's not even on till someone gets in because I'm sitting on my phone. And I'm thinking, fuck, what am I doing, eh? Like, so what I'm trying to do now is trying to still have the same productivity around the day, the amount of time of work in the day, but cut the procrastination out, because I just find it's so easy now, especially with fucking 9 Instagrams, man. I've got 9 Instagrams, 9 Facebooks.
That's depression waiting to happen.
I've actually with Wealth Cartel, I've actually got 10 Instagrams. So, like, if I jump on one, and like I get a notification, I'll move on to one, and then it's so easy to just go, oh, you know what? I'm just going to have a little look through here, and because they're all complete separate demographics, everything coming through is different. So, like, I could potentially, without meaning to, procrastinate for 2.5 hours in a day where I'm like, fuck this, I need a break from these socials, eh? It's real hard to run my business without them, but I've got a real good manager now, so.
What about the gym? Do you fit that into the week? What about the gym? Do you fit that into the week?
Well, Ryan's training pretty hard at the moment. I'm a bit hit and miss at the moment, man. When I'm there, I'm loving it, and then I'll sort of miss a day or two and just find it hard to get back. I've had more first days at the gym than fucking anyone. I'm telling you, first day back. I love the gym. I love it when I'm there. I feel good when I'm there, and then it's sort of, I'll go, fuck, I really can't get there today, and I'm that person that really struggles. What's happened there?
That's why getting up early can be the key. Because if you get up early and do nothing, what's the point? The main reason I get up early is because you tick the gym off. I've exercised. I've got the blood flowing. Like,
yeah,
I thank me for it.
That's I never, because I'm a power, like, I lift heavy, right? So, like, a power lifter, and I wake up and I'm the most frail guy in the morning. I'm all injured and shit. And so I started training at 5 a.m., right? And like, I'm like, fuck, like 120 kilos just in pain, right? Like, can't even open a jar of jam, you know what I mean? And so I started training, but I started training with Dan, and I actually started training really well. But as my lifts got heavier, my recovery was worse. So now I fit my gym in either from lunchtime to mid-afternoon, because I can get more food in and I can train better. But
I was I was doing it at 5 o'clock at Mears, right? At Ethos. I was going at 5 a.m. and my day was so much more productive. But come, like, I don't know, 5:36, I'd hit this wall, and then it was like, my biggest thing is, Jordan, I got 3 kids, right? So I'm married, I got 3 kids, and then I'd go and I'd be this productive, like, I run these businesses 100% at full capacity. Like, I know I'm good at what I do, you know what I mean? I'm flat sick, and then I get home and I've hit this wall, and then I'm like, I'm not present at home, and I'm thinking, is it really? Don't get me wrong, I want to train, man. I want to feel fit because I know the benefits it does for you mentally as well. But I'm like, fuck, man. Then I'm getting home, and I'm like, I'm not talking to my missus. I've got no time for my kids. It's a pretty hard balancing act at times, bro. You gotta, like, even when you're going good, sometimes you just got to make time, eh?
9 businesses would be, and a family, even just kids. Like, my brother's just had a baby, and she's so hands-on all the time. So add 3 and then 9 businesses, and that takes up a lot of your time. How did that? I'm interested to know. How did you get from 1 to 9?
The bullet and asked me, Ryan, can we do this? And I said, yeah, do it. You're doing nothing else.
So pretty much, a mate of mine. I'll go. It's a long story, but I'll go short because I talk too much.
Yeah, hurry up because we're going to get into this stuff.
Yeah, so a mate of mine and I were having a chat, and I said to him, I got steered into it from another dude, and I sort of said to him, listen, I've got this one in Terrigal. Terrigal's fucking so good, bro. I want to go again, and but I want to get 2. Do you want to go halves with me? And he was like, oh, yeah, fuck, I'm keen. And he owns a large bricklaying company. So him and I had a chat, done some numbers together, and took him to our accountant. And then about an hour after we left our accountant, he called us, and our accountant said, hey, fuck, listen, I think you're onto something here. Let's get 8 of these between us. I want in. And I was like, oh, fuck, righto. I don't know if I can afford that. Anyway, that one thing turned into another, man. And then next thing you know, we had a 4th partner who's minor shareholder, which was a solicitor, so he could do all our legals. We went and had a meeting with the founders, and a week later, fucking, we bought the businesses, man. It was happened pretty quick.
Right.
I mean,
let's
go. Yeah, let's go.
Let's jump into Jordan stuff, mate. So that was a good little chat. I enjoyed that. But let's get into you, right? Let's talk about you. So I want to know, who are you, where you're from, what you're doing now, and sort of, what life growing up was like, how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, well, I might just start with my story then. I don't tell it a lot, but I think everybody's got a story. But growing up, I grew up I was born in Bankstown, but moved to the coast when I was 5.
Bankstown!
Bankstown Hospital, on my passport. Look out.
You're not allowed out of the country.
And flight risk.
I wouldn't even know how to get there now. Yeah, I've probably been up here for 21 years now. I think like my early life sort of created the person I am now. I moved out, had a lot of trouble at home growing up, like massive issues with my dad. So bad that I couldn't live in the house anymore. So I moved out when I won't get into that, but you can imagine what it was like. It was pretty bad. But I moved out when I was 16, out of home. I lived in a lady's granny flat in Long Jetty, and I just started applying for jobs, just hoping that somebody would give me a job, because I had to start paying, I don't forget what it was at the time, but a bit of money to live in this lady's granny flat. And at 16, you don't realise you're actually a really young person. But when you actually are 16, you're like a little bit like, oh, I think I've got this, but I didn't.
Yeah.
No way. But I got a job interview, and I needed a car. And at this time, my relationship with my family was super fractured, like so bad that I wasn't even on speaking terms with anybody, pretty much. And my auntie, who I didn't really have a great relationship with at the time, could probably sense my position, and she lent me $3,000 to buy a car. And that was the start of my new life. And I paid her back $50 a week, and I was just landscaping. I'd just mow lawns and just do whatever. But I think from then on, I was just always that guy that I'd just do anything. Like, I just had a work ethic that, like, there was no job too big, nothing too small. Whatever you needed done, I'd just do it. And I did that for a couple of years, still living at home, not speaking to my family, like really alone, just trying to work life out. Far out, life's hard. Like, when you got nobody to guide you. Like, I used to get really lost when I was 17 or 18. I got a good relationship with my nan. You've probably seen that. I owe my life to my nan. I take dinner there every Thursday. I have coffees with her on Friday morning. But I used to just turn up to her house. She used to open the door. I'd just be crying at the door. And she'd just take me in and give me some food and things like that, get me back on my feet, and I'd go back to the granny flat and keep working, things like that. Because when you don't have a really good support base, like, you're just so lost in the world.
Even now, man, even now at our age now, if you haven't got a good support base, let alone when you're 16 and you're out in the big world, bad world by yourself, it's pretty daunting. It's not an easy thing to do at all by any means, you know?
Exactly. Even now, trying to work life out. Like, and that's the thing with schools, they don't really teach you like how to actually transition into life and things like that. And I guess that's where parents come in. I didn't have that at that point in my life. But my nan, that was a cycle on and off with my nan, picked me back up. And then I think at about 19, I was like, nah, this isn't my life. Like this greatness in me. I'm just going to create something for my family. Like I'm just going to be just whatever I do, I'm just going to be the best at it. So I went to uni because young kids, they don't know, like there's no help to, and that's why I always try and help young people, because it's like, I made so many mistakes. I went to uni just for the sake of going to uni, never even used it, have like a $40,000 HEX debt. I suppose it's taught me skills and things like that and gave me maybe a little bit of a leap. But I remember I went for a marketing job in Newcastle. I just sat down and I said, I have no experience. There's people here that have been working in the industry for 10 years. You have my life. I said, I'll work for free. I'll do whatever it takes. I said, I live on the Central Coast. I'll even move up here. Whatever needs to happen, I'll just do it. And that was the start of, I think, Jordan Bulmer. And they gave me the job over all of these experienced people just because I said, whatever I need to do, it'll just be the best. There'll be high energy. I'll be enthused. There's no hour limit on me.
You can't pay for that, eh? Like I say that to all my clients. I say, look, just get an interview. Do whatever you need to do to get an interview. Get in front of the person. Yourself to be that person.
Ryan, if you get a second after this, Jordan's got, I don't know if it's up on his Insta or whether he's done a story, but he done this thing on for any young kids who were going to sit down at a job interview, and it was the best. I'd never seen anyone do anything like it. It was just honest. It was, you know what, I'm here. I'm ready to go. I will work for free. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. This is me, and this is what I'm here for. And I watched it, and I've got 32 staff, and I hire a little bit different than anyone else. I don't take CVs. I couldn't give a fuck about your qualifications. I want to know you're a good person, right? And we use that as part of the branding of the brand. But when Jordan put this up, I watched it and I was like, I'll show my kids that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I thought that's mate, because Jordan, I relate to that, mate, because when I left the army, like I don't have uni degree or nothing, and I went into the insurance world, and similar to the real estate world, I think I was the last era of cold calls and door knocking. Yeah, that'll make a real man out of you. And I did that, and I ended up in 3 months. I became the top salesman for this company in Australia, right? Just I had no skills. I just grinded and did it. But I realized it wasn't me. I didn't like the insurance industry. I wanted to get into finance. And my first job that moved me to Sydney was the same thing, bro. I rang up and he's like, mate, I've got people coming in here that are getting this interview that have been offered at top firms. They got all these uni degrees. And I said, brother, listen. I said, yeah, but and none of them had cold called, right? And that's none of them done any sales. And I said, mate, all I ask, I said, I'll pay my flight to Sydney. I said, just let me come and see you. Let me just sit in front of you. And that's what I said. And that's how I got the job. I sat in front of him and I was me. I backed myself and I got the job. And look at me now, you know. And I say that to everyone. Just get an interview and just do what you need to do. Apply for jobs that are way above your head. Apply for jobs that are way above your head. Make them create a job for you. If you get in front of someone and you back yourself and it's something you really want to do, show them your passion. And get in front of someone, and I guarantee if you back yourself and you show them why you're the best for the job and you are the best for the job, you'll get it every day of the week.
I think it's funny too, because you've got a lot of kids that go, oh yeah, but I'm not, as confident as you, or I'm not as outspoken as you. And I feel like what was so good about what Jordan said was anyone could have had that conversation. The way he described it was like, I'm not better than anyone else. I'm not really great at this, but what I am is I'm willing to work and I'm willing to to do this for free, and I'll do anything it takes. And I don't remember the last time I heard someone come to me in an interview and say, I'll do whatever it takes.
It's too much entitlement now. It's too much entitlement. If I sign up, I deserve a paycheck. What for?
Well, not only that, the first thing anyone asks these days is, how much do I get paid? And I'm like, fuck, I'm not hiring you. You know what I mean? If you're only coming to work for me, I mean, don't get me wrong, people need a means. I get that. People need to make money for it. They do understand that as well. But if that's your first inquiry in any sense, whether you're on $100 an hour or $10 an hour, if your first worry is your paycheck and not how good you are and what you can provide the what's the fucking called? The employer. If you can't provide that employer with something, then you don't have the right to ask what you're worth at the moment. Like I feel like you
got to show your value.
You've
got to show your value, 100%.
As well, too. Like, it breaks my heart when I don't go to the shop anymore. But when I used to go to the shop, the person would be like 60, going like beep at the thing, and they just hated their life, and you can just see it. And I think, how did you get to 60 not finding something that you love? And I look at young people now, and that's your opportunity to get into, like, let's say fitness wasn't, or let's say protein or supplements or fitness was my industry that I work. I'd just go and find the best person in the area that's doing what I wanted to do, and just say, I'll just hang beside you. I'll just work for free. Just let me be in your bubble.
Yeah.
For a year, I'll work at night packing shelves just to be. That's your lead into doing something that you love.
People value people value money more than the experience in their own life. Yet they want to ask someone for experience, but they're not willing to work for it. You know, it's 100%.
Just reckon that's such a fucking good lesson to teach kids, man. That's like, you know, that's, you know, a lot of well, a mate of mine, Tarek, he works with Steve. He works with Menzies.
Oh yeah, good chat. He's frozen. Hey, that's rude, bro. I'll have to cut this bit out. Fuck me. That's what happens when you don't get into the office. It happens when you're out and about gallivanting. All right, we'll move on. When he comes back. So you got the marketing job, Jordan, and then where'd you go from there?
Marketing job, and that was step one. That was leverage point. And then,
because that gave you experience to put on your resume, yeah? Like that was
gave me experience. It gave people in the company were very skilled. Just being around skillful people, I picked in, like, being around skillful people, as much as you don't think you're learning stuff. Like, even now, I just say something and I go, wow, that's something that Matt would have said. Yeah. Like, it just becomes a part of you. You just become your surrounding. That's why it's so important to be like, to make sure that your friends that are around you are like either better than you or pushing you or celebrating your wins or wanting to just push their life forward. Because
and it's important to understand it happens on the other end of the spectrum too.
Exactly.
100%. You know, that you talk about, like, one of the things we're building our business now, and one of the things we're focusing on is that, like, every business I've been a part of has that cancer, you know, has that one person in it that just spreads, you know, and you got to make sure you don't have that. You got to really make sure that in your life, you push that out.
Exactly. Yeah. So did that, was looking to buy an investment property, got an introduction to a guy. His name's Chris Smith down at the Tukley office, McGrath Terrigal office. And he said, could I come and start in real estate, blah, blah, blah. And I just wasn't really into real estate at the time. Like, it was sort of, it's got a bad stigma about it, real estate. Like, it just really does. And I said to him, no, I just don't know if I like the industry and all that sort of stuff. But gut feel, I just literally was like, nah, yes, man, let's just try it. And now I love it. And I've moved pretty fast in the real estate industry. I now work alongside Matt and Trev, #1 team in the country. And I've probably done 20 years of real estate training and skills in 5 years. So,
and across the board, you're pretty lucky. Across the board, McGrath's got such a good sales. So I work with my old business. We actually were partnered with McGrath Australia, and we worked really closely with the Manly office, and a couple of the, you know, con and stuff out of the city and that kind of stuff. So, and the beauty thing is there, I think one of John's traits that he passes on is that hard work. He comes from those door knocking days and those cold calling days, and he still instills that in you guys. You know what I mean? And
he's a good man, John McGrath. Everything, all his values for the company is him.
Yeah, and the people at the top of the game inside McGrath as well. it's not like they didn't. A lot of them, most of the good ones, didn't come from. They weren't outside pickers that come in. You know, they followed the steps of the hard work, and they got to where they are from that hustle and from doing the right things. Whereas I saw a lot of people across the board in real estate. When the last boom happened, everyone thought they were going real estate because you give properties away without doing anything. And then when it started dipping, that's when you saw the McGrath guys really stepping up and coming through because they showed what real estate was real, you know?
I say to people all the time, I'm like, if you just want your property sold, you may as well sell it and give it to your 5-year-old son to sell. Somebody will sell it in this market. But it's like maximizing price. Who do you trust to maximize price? Like, but it's the hardest industry, like I swear, to get started in the beginning. Like it's just so much, and even for young people, like it's just so much grunt work. But I guess every business is, but it just comes down to hard work. The first thing I learned from Matt was he just said that there's no silver bullet. There's no special dialogue.
100%.
He said, get out and be consistent every day.
That's what's brilliant about
Ryan says that all the time, mate. Ryan's always like, everyone's always asking me, what do I invest in? What's the secret ingredient? Well, there fucking isn't one really. You know what I mean? Like there's hard work. That's it. That's so many people have that conversation about. Like I've got a mate of mine at the moment. He's messaging me like backwards and forwards, and he's like, "Let's catch up, Dan. Like, I want to pick your brain." And I'm like, "Bro, like, what?" I'll catch up with you. Like, well, let's chat. But what is it that you feel I'm going to do for you that you can't do for yourself? You know what I mean? I can't give you a business or give you lifestyle advice, or apart from the fact that I worked my ass off, man. You know what I mean? And that's it. And sorry about it coming out before too. It's hot in Liverpool. It's about 40 degrees, and the iPhone overheated.
I heard a thing the other day and it said, being rich is hard. Being poor is hard, being fit is hard, being overweight is hard, all of these things. And then said, choose your hard. And it's so true. Like, choose your hard. Like, which way are we going here? Because every way that you go is going to be hard. It just depends on which one you want to choose. Like, going to the gym at 4:30, like, it's not easy. Some mornings I'm like, I'm half dead. I didn't want to get up. You get up. Like, I don't want to door knock for 2 hours in the sun, but I know it's what will move my business forward. So I do it every day.
Yeah, I think it's important to the people. The biggest one is, we talk a lot about fitness when we talk about do what makes your body feel good. But it's the same just in life. Like, so many people are miserable. And forget being rich, forget being whatever, right? Like money, forget, some people don't need to be rich, some people do. Forget money. But if you're not living the life you want to live, if you're not happy, why are you still doing the same shit? Why do you wake up and repeat the same process if it's not working? And I put a post up yesterday or today about it where I said, like, I have people that come to me and then at the end they go, oh no, we're just going to do it ourselves. I'm like, I just turn back and go, what you're doing for yourself right now has gotten you to where you are now. What do you think, if you don't change anything, if you want change, you've got to change it. That's the simplest. It doesn't just change, And I think that's really important for people to understand. You can't, if what you're doing isn't making you happy, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what do you think? You got to change it. You got to change the things that aren't change the process to alter the outcome. I think that's really important.
I've always said if I wake up and I'm not happy, I'll change it straight away. I'm either 100% happy with what I'm doing or I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, it's as simple as that. Even with people, like, if you're not adding value to my life and I'm not adding value to yours, what's the point? Like, you've got a certain amount of time in the day. What's the point waking up doing something you hate, being around people that you know aren't good for you, eating crappy food, all of this stuff? Like, just find out what you want to do and just do it. Like, life's pretty simple, I reckon. Like, it's pretty simple. Find what you love to do, work really hard at it, and just be okay with whatever money you're earning. Try and eat healthy most of the time, train as much as you can, and just work out who you are as a person. Yeah. But I think people overcomplicate it a lot as well. But with money as well, like, it just opens so many more doors. Like, right now, I would give up everything I own for my nan. If someone happened to my nan, she needs every cent that I've ever earned gone, or hers. Like, it gives you the ability to take care of
a lot of people that go really well, they have that sort of, I have this mentality in my head where, and I'll tell it to anyone too without feeling bad about it, is that if I was to go broke tomorrow, I strongly believe that if I was bankrupt today, in 5 years from now, I could be back in a similar position. And not because I feel like I'm better than anyone else or anything else, but I feel like I would work outwork everyone else to ensure that my kids didn't understand hardship. And there's so many people, like, I heard this story of, I don't know who it was. It was a dude a while ago. He went broke 3 times. And it was like, and I was like, fuck, I was sort of laughing. I was like, this dude obviously doesn't know how to run the businesses. He knows how to start them, but not run them. But what it came down to, like, he had 2 recessions. He went through 2 recessions. So when you're looking at it as a span of 50 years, was it Grant Cardone? Was it someone else involved? I think it was someone involved with Grant Cardone. Went broke a couple of times, but he was just never going to fail. In his mind, he was like, fuck it, it's cash. That's not success to me, you know. I've been rich, I've been poor. It's the journey is what I enjoy doing, and that's what makes me happy. So regardless of whether or not I've got the money or I'm chasing the money, the journey's still there. And I strongly believe that is like a sole part of how people can become successful.
If you love the journey, it creates wealth for you. I love real estate so much. I'm so dedicated to it. We know what sells and things like that, but like, it's not even on my radar. I'm like trying to just change people's lives. And over a few years, like, I've done okay from it. Like, imagine
this camera needs to change my life. My tits are looking fucking shocking in this.
I'm getting a bit of blood flow. Put them away.
What if you stand like a bikie?
Like a bikie. hang on. We'll draw some.
I actually got palmed onto you, Jordan, by so my studio is next to Laneway Cafe.
Yep.
Which is next to Ray White, and Georgia had told me to follow you. She was like, follow my mate. Like, he's really good. I think you'll like him. I think you will get along. And I was like, yeah, cool. So that was, I don't know, 12 months ago now, I think, roughly, or something like that, where she gave me Insta, and I followed you through that. So she was like, she's on the grind as well, you know. She's pretty cool too, Georgia. And she was like, yeah, so follow my dude. No, since then I sort of followed. I was like, yeah, I don't mind it. I love the positivity, man. I love, if anything, you know, that a lot of people can take out of it, it's being positive and being able to pass on your story to kids. Like, it's exactly what we do with the Wealth Cartel. The whole point of it is not to become rich. Wealth means rich in a lot of people's minds with money, and we don't believe that. We believe wealth is lifestyle, happiness, and money combined. And I feel like you're the epitome of that, because you live the lifestyle. You know what I mean? You get up in the morning, you train, you do what you love. You then have this, like, living in Terrigal was pretty, I mean, it's not the worst place in the world to fucking wake up in the morning either. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful part of the world.
Depends how you woke up there. I've woken up in Terrigal a few times after a big night, and it wasn't great.
I've done like a 3-dayer in Terrigal before and driven back to Sydney and not remembered I was in Terrigal.
Funny about like young people and success, it's almost not cool. Like, I feel like sometimes I polarize young people because, like, since I was 16, I've been in survival mode. There's been nothing else other than like work out life. Like, but when you're a young person, it's like when you start to actually create something by yourself, people go, "Oh, fuck that guy." Like, yeah, like, because they're looking at themselves thinking, well, what am I doing? So it's actually a massive wrestle for a young guy trying to make something of themselves with everybody else out there that's young. I think older people, most of my friends are older business guys because they respect the hustle, and they were once where I was early on, and like.
And you guarantee they're not going to put shit on you for having a crack. Generally, a lot of the people in your circle that are your age, we've had this chat a million times. I had a big blow up about it. I was like, fuck these guys. Like, you know what I mean? They're my mates. They're talking shit because I'm doing a podcast and I'm doing this. And the only people that had ever had anything to say are still living in the granny flat. You know what I mean? The only people that ever had anything to say were so unhappy with their own lives, they had to try and make a mockery of mine or discuss what was going on in mine to make themselves feel better. And I'm at a stage now where I'm like, I nearly feel sorry for you if that's the way you're going to be. You know?
It's so true. You have to like learn, because so many people early on when I was starting to grind and all that sort of stuff, people were like, I think that you're like building this house, people are throwing stones at it and things like that, because they're almost feeling threatened that you're coming up. And you've got to really deal with like rejection of friends, like as you outgrow like certain groups of people and things like that, and just be okay that like Everybody isn't going to understand your journey, and it's nothing wrong with you. You just need to connect with the people that are on the same wave.
You just need to find your plan, stick to it. Stop running everyone else's race, mate. That's
I wouldn't even look out of my lane. I wouldn't even know what anybody's doing around me.
That's right, and that's what people take lessons from other people, but no one's life's the same. The journey to success is different for everyone, and the sooner people realize that and stop going to barbecues and saying, "What are you investing in that makes you so good? What are you doing? What are you doing?" and just fucking take the lessons, but stop trying to hang off other people and do that. And take the lessons and run your own race. And
I've got family members that work 4 days a week, but they've just done enough, and they have 10 days off. 4 days before, I have 10 days off, and they are the happiest people in the whole world.
100%, mate.
Yeah.
Because they've got lifestyle. This life isn't for everybody. This is just my life that I want to create. And there's people that have different, like success means different things to them. I couldn't meet some of my family members. You couldn't meet happier people.
That's right. And what you're doing now is right for you right now. In 10
Exactly.
years' time, that might change, and that's why people just got to look at yourselves at the moment and run the race that's right for you for now. And it's going to change. It's going to change. You're going to do whatever. But I've got clients that earn $500,000 a year, and the best advice I ever gave them was drop 2 days of work a week. Because they're unhappy. They had all the money in the world. Miserable.
I've met people that have hundreds and hundreds of $1 million that have just about to retire and be told that they're sick and going to die. You couldn't imagine some of the stories with some of these people. And they look back and they go, I just was looking at life totally wrong. I know that I want to work this hard for a period of time. So when I have a family, like I can fully tunnel vision, be a part of that, be a present person. And like, I think you leave it too long, like you're stuck in trying to pay the mortgage, trying to do this, kids. And I think that's where problems come in relationships.
I think too, but if you look at it from a point of view where if you start understanding at 20 years old or 25 or whether it be 30, a lot of people look at it like a lot of my mates I know for a fact, they go, fuck, I haven't bought a house by 30, I've failed. And I strongly disagree now. I used to feel that way and I strongly disagree now. I feel like still a long time to go, but if you get on that level, if you get on that playing field of I'm just going to chase happiness from here on in, and regardless of whether I get that house or not, if you set that house as your happiness, then fair enough, get it. But I'm strongly feeling like my grandparents, for instance, are great, the best people. I'm the same. They're the best. They're my favourite people in the world. They're still married. Their 50th wedding anniversary was a couple of years ago. That's the aspiration for me, is to last as long as they did. But you look at my pop has just done whatever he wanted his whole life. Didn't matter what anyone said. He went and done. He played bowls on a Saturday, golf on a Sunday, laid floors on a Monday. Fuck these people ringing me, man. I don't know. And I just feel like you look at him and he's honestly the happiest dude ever. He loves it. He'll paint. Don't stand still at my pop's house because he will paint over you while you stand up against the wall. I'm telling you, bro. He painted my fucking dad's car. he painted my dad's car with a brush. Painted my dad's car with a brush, bro. But he's so happy in doing it that no one even bothered telling him it was the wrong thing to do. He was just like, oh, fuck it, go do what you want to do, Pop, But that being able to see someone like that live out their life with a smile on their faces for 80 years, it means to me, he's by no means rich, but fuck me, he's had a life.
But he's wealthy. He's not rich, but he's wealthy.
Wealthy as. Very wealthy of the mind,
So